Usually, if you want a bit of comedic relief, you watch TV, you scroll through social media, you joke around with friends. But I feel like what people don't realize is that there's comedy all around us. I mean, every single aspect of our culture is just humorous in some way if you stop and think about it for a second. If you've ever been to a drive-thru at a restaurant, there's a chance you may have encountered an automated voice message that plays over the speaker when you pull up to place your order. This could be something like, "Hi, welcome to so and so. Take all the time you need and place your order when you're ready." And this could quite possibly be one of the most confusing things of all time. It kind of sounds like a person who's actually talking to you through the speaker, but it also kind of sounds like an automated voice that is not somebody talking to you in the moment. And if you respond to it, you're basically just responding to a robot. And it sounds stupid, but if it's a real person sitting in there talking to you and greeting you, then you're rude if you don't respond to it. So there's really no solution there. And I feel like these automated messages just cause way too many awkward situations for my liking. So they're really not necessary. I find that left turn lights are never timed properly. They're either 5 seconds or minutes long. Nobody can turn in 5 seconds, not even a single car. And there's never that many people where you need to have people turning left for minutes and minutes on end. I think there should be a good middle ground of 30 seconds or so where everyone's happy, where traffic flows smoothly, you can turn left if you need to. And I feel like it's really not rocket science. I feel like something should be done about it and could be done about it, but people just don't seem to care. Am I the only person who feels like we should have flying cars at this point? I mean, we have, you know, pocket-sized computers that we carry around that we can literally do everything on. We have little cards that hold all of our money. We have virtual reality goggles to transport us to other dimensions, but we don't have flying cars yet. I just feel like everything that we imagined there would be in a futuristic world, all this futuristic technology, like everything, all of it's here already except for flying cars, which is, flying cars is not as easy as making the first Ford models, but I feel like we should have flying cars by now, and it's quite disappointing. I hate geese. I really don't have much else to say on the matter, except for the fact that it's pretty funny that they are more menacing than most dangerous predators. Although it is not so funny when they start hissing at you like a literal demon. They are just pure evil. I feel like proper etiquette on an airplane is pretty common sense, but I still find myself having to explain it anyways. People just don't know how to act on planes sometimes. Your arm or leg straying into my seat is not gonna work. The seats just aren't big enough for that. And pushing the TV on the back of the seat really hard to get it to work is not gonna get it to work any easier. Just tap it and it'll work just fine. And finally, I don't care how much you like tuna salad. Do not bring it on an airplane. Just do everybody else a favor and grab a bag of chips or trail mix and call it a day, please. One of my biggest pet peeves is when somebody starts talking when you're both watching a movie that neither of you have seen. It is both disappointing and discouraging. If it's a short comment that doesn't interrupt anything, then whatever. But if you start talking your head off about some random thing, but I'm sorry, I'm just gonna ignore you and keep watching the movie. I find that it is very annoying when somebody does this, and every time they do it, I just respect them a little bit less. A humorous sign that you may be becoming an adult is when you get more excited over getting necessities than things that you want. What I mean by this is you get more excited when you get pillows or you see some new kitchen tool that you've never seen before. And I think it's a real sign of becoming an adult. When you're a kid and you see your parents buy something boring it makes no sense to you. But when you're an adult, you grow up and you realize just how great getting new necessities really is. I recently got 2 packs of Adidas socks, and they are probably the best gift I have received so far this year. I find it weird, yet funny, that social culture nowadays has deemed it not as cool to stay at home and watch a movie versus going out to bars and parties and stuff like that. I would much rather stay at home with a $2 beer and $2 bag of popcorn and watch a movie on the comfort of my own couch. I find it very puzzling that people would much rather go out and spend $14 on a drink only to spend 20 minutes waiting for it and then spilling half of it on your way back to your friends. And then you just sit and stand in a packed area for hours, and then you have to wait in a very long line if you ever need to go to the bathroom, only to use the most disgusting bathroom that you have ever seen. I think I will continue to prefer to stay at home and watch a movie. A situation that I find a lot of people commonly have to deal with is whether or not they should get mad at somebody for tailgating them when they're driving. I think a lot of people are on both sides of this issue. I think most people get mad if someone tailgates them when they're driving behind them, but most people also will be the person tailgating another person if they're going too slow. So I think it's a very funny and silly situation that a lot of us find ourselves in. One of the hardest decisions to make is whether or not you should get up in the middle of the night when you have to pee. I think it's a much more comfortable sleep if you just get up and pee and go back to sleep, but it's a lot more complicated than that. First of all, you are in a very warm and comfortable position when you wake up initially, and no one ever wants to get out of bed when that happens. You just want to go back to sleep, but it's just a decision you have to make. And because once you get up, then you are turning lights on, you're walking around, you're waking up a little bit, and you don't want to be awake in bed after you get back from the bathroom. And also, you may not find that perfect, comfortable position that you were in before you got up. So, all in all, it's a very stressful situation that I hate having to deal with. Trader Joe's is very underrated. It seems nice and expensive, but in reality, their products are pretty fairly priced. Their food's fresh, it's good, they have all kinds of different and interesting flavors. I love to get this thing called pancake bread, which is literally like a loaf of banana bread, but instead of bananas, it's pancakes. It's the consistency of bread, but it tastes exactly like pancakes. It has the same kind of look as pancakes, except for the texture, and it is one of the best things that I will ever have in my life. While I'm rating things, can I just say that Connecticut beaches are highly overrated. Whenever I tell someone I'm from Connecticut but don't like it very much, they say, "Oh, well, you got the beaches, that's so awesome." No, it's not awesome. The beaches are more rocks and shells than actual sand, so it's not very pleasant to walk on them. And it's the same thing if you want to go for a swim. You gotta walk over a bunch of slimy, gross rocks that are not always smooth, and you have to avoid little crabs, and it's just very much not relaxing. And not to mention the water is not just clean ocean water, it's a mixture of ocean water and river water from rivers that run into Long Island Sound. So it's half salt water and half river water with dirt and sediment, so the color of the ocean, quote unquote, is this gross, dark, brown, green, blue, I don't even know what to call it. And on top of all this, it's extremely hot and humid in Connecticut all the time. And because the beaches are on Long Island Sound, there's never any waves. The Long Island blocks the waves from the Atlantic. So it's very mellow. You can't surf or body surf or do anything like that, which is what I like to do. And overall, the beaches are just very, very overrated. One of the worst technological additions in recent years is the tip prompter on card readers when you go and check out at a store. This is just super weird to me because the cashier is doing nothing more than the requirements of their job. They have to ring you up or else they could get fired. And I feel like this just does not constitute the 25% tip that they're suggesting on the card reader. And it's always very awkward when you go and check out and the cashier's staring at you while you press no tip, and it's just a very, very awkward situation I feel like is not necessary. If you want a bit of comedic relief in your life, all you have to do is think about life itself. Whatever thoughts come into your mind are bound to be humorous in one way or another. Even when something is so annoying or stupid that it's funny, it's still humor. Thank you for listening to my thoughts.